Come on over, come on over, come on over. I want to talk to you about the SEP IRA, and I want to explain everything to you in easy, everyday English. What is a simplified employee pension plan? Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to explain to you what a SEP IRA is, and I want to do so in easy, everyday English. In today's show, so we have several parts. We have SEP IRA definition, then we have SEP IRA eligibility requirements, SEP IRA contribution limits, SEP IRA pros and cons, how to open a SEP IRA, how to do it the proper way, and invest in funds in your SEP IRA and the best SEP IRA providers. Let's first talk about the definition. So a SEP IRA is a simplified employee pension individual retirement account. So translation is a retirement account that offers tax breaks for business owners and self-employed individuals who put money away for the future. So a SEP IRA is a basic individual retirement account, much like a traditional IRA, and this is for business owners, entrepreneurs, and self-employed, and contributions are tax deductible. So investments grow tax deferred until retirement when distributions are taxed as income. And generally, the SEP IRA eligibility requirements, generally this kind of retirement plan are best for self-employed people or small business owners with few or no employees. And here is why. Let me break it down for you. If you have employees whom the IRS considers as eligible participants in your plan, you must contribute on their behalf, and those contributions must be an equal percentage of compensation to your own. And eligible participants are employees who are 21 or older, have worked for you for 3 of the past 5 years, and have earned at least $600 from you in the past year. Okay, so basically, let me give you an example. If an employee worked for you in 2018, 2019, and 2020, you would need to make a contribution for him or her for the 2021 plan year. Okay, so if you want to stash away 15% of your compensation for yourself, you must also contribute 15% of that employee's compensation to his or her plan. And employees own and control their own accounts. So because of that rule, really, and the rule that requires equal contributions as a percentage of compensation, a SEP IRA is generally best for self-employed and small business owners with few or no employees. Okay. So what about SEP IRA contribution limits? Now, a traditional IRA allows you to put away $6,000 each year, and that's the annual maximum in both 2020 and 2021, and it's $7,000 if you are 50 or older. So the amounts are usually vary, but for now it's $6,000. So with a SEP IRA, you can actually stockpile nearly 10 times that amount, or up to $57,000 in 2020 and up to $58,000 in 2021. Having said that, SEP IRA annual contribution limits cannot exceed the lesser of 25% of compensation, or $57,000 in 2020 or $58,000 in 2021. So the first limit, 25% of compensation, is actually also the limit for how much you can contribute for each eligible employee. So the amount of compensation you can use to calculate the 25% limit is also limited to $285,000 in 2020 and $290,000 in 2021. So there is the limits again are fixed by Congress or set by Congress every year. And yes, there is no catch-up contribution at age 50 plus for SEP IRAs. There is none. You can combine a SEP IRA with a traditional or Roth IRA. So if you are an employee who is covered by a SEP IRA, employer contributions do not reduce the amount you can contribute to an IRA for yourself, but the amount of your traditional IRA contribution that you can deduct may be reduced at certain higher income levels due to the combination of both plans. Okay, so we actually covered this rules around the IRA contribution limits on another show. So please avail yourself of all the videos in our database, and you can see specifically where we explain the traditional IRA in easy everyday English, so you can really have a better idea of the contribution limits there. But just to remember that, yeah, if you have a higher income level, you might actually not be eligible to, you might be limited to the deductions, to the withdrawal availability on your account, on your SEP IRA. Let me talk to you now about SEP IRA pros and cons. What are the pros here? The high contribution limit of up to $57,000 in 2020 and $58,000 in 2021 is a huge advantage. Really, a SEP IRA is very easy to set up and administer because remember, you're by yourself. It's for one person or for a very limited number of people, and the account can be combined with a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA, and contributions are tax deductible, including those made to employee accounts. That's really cool. And you can deduct the lesser of your contributions or 25% of compensation subject to the compensation cap. As I said before, you have $285,000 in 2020 and $290,000 in 2021. And the cool thing here is that if you are self-employed, your deduction is 25% of net self-employment income. You also have flexibility with the SEP IRA because you don't have to commit to contributing every year. You know, so things happen. Some years you might be flush with cash, and some years you might have some financial problems, some liquidity problems. So you need to love that flexibility that comes with the SEP IRA. So those are for the pros. What about the disadvantages? First, there's no catch-up contribution for savers 50 or older. There is no Roth version, which means you cannot opt to pay taxes on contributions now and take distributions tax-free in retirement as you can by choosing a Roth IRA. The required proportional contributions for each eligible employee if you contribute for yourself. And like traditional IRAs and 401ks, SEP IRAs require minimum distributions beginning at age 72. And this could be a little problem for people who want to push that number a little further, or just to pass on their IRA to their heirs, right, to their grandkids or kids. And another disadvantage is that, like a traditional IRA, distributions before age 59 and a half are taxed as income and subject to a 10% penalty unless the reason for the distribution satisfies one of the IRS's early withdrawal exemptions. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. So I'm still explaining to you what a SEP IRA is in easy everyday English. So I've talked about SEP IRA definition, SEP IRA eligibility requirement, SEP IRA contribution limits, SEP IRA pros and cons. Now let's talk about how to open a SEP IRA. Very important topic here. It's very easy to open this kind of account online. The first step is to choose an account provider. And I will be talking to you about the best SEP IRA providers later on. And then the IRS outlines 3 steps for setting up your SEP IRA. You need to create a formal written agreement. And you can do this with the IRS Form 5305 SEP or through your account provider. And you need to give eligible employees information about the SEP IRA. You can actually give them a copy of IRS Form 5305 SEP, or you can get similar information through your account provider. So this is very important. And you also can set up separate SEP IRAs for each eligible employee with the account provider. Okay, so this is the trifecta. You need to pay attention to the 3-step plan. And how do you invest funds in a SEP IRA? So what happens here is that once you open the account, you actually have to go through your provider, and you can choose from the constellation of investments your account provider offers. And the selection typically includes stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Some providers might offer you ETFs exchange traded funds. So it's really something you have to think about. It's really possible to open an IRA at a bank, but generally you'll be limited to investing in certificate of deposits, which usually offer a lower return than a diversified group of stocks and bonds. Okay, so this is very important to remember. And so once the account is open and funded, all you want to do is you need to invest the funds in the account, right? And you can do so in accordance with your age. So there are a lot of things you have to think about, a lot of criteria. So your age, your planned retirement age, and your risk tolerance. Okay, so are you a risk taker, or are you risk averse? So if you have a fairly strong stomach for market swings and a long time until retirement, your investment selection should sway towards stocks, specifically stock index funds, which actually track a segment of the market and hold a diverse mix of stocks within that segment. Okay, and one thing I also want to say here is that the less time you have until retirement and the less patience you have for a market downturn, the more you'll want to allocate towards bonds and bond funds. You can also buy index funds for bonds. And I also want to talk to you now about the best SEP IRA providers. And I mean, there are tens of IRA providers out there, but here are the few that we have actually caught up to, the few that we have reviewed on this show, and we believe they're great for most users. So you have Fidelity Investments. So Fidelity is really improving its retirement planning tools intended to engage millennials with a game called 5 Money Musts, which actually encourages new investors to get into the market using exchange traded funds. And for those who are further down the road toward retirement, there are tools to help get organized as one's retirement date approaches, including a clear explanation of how and when to take Social Security payments. And Fidelity offers everything from managed account to self-service, and its robo-advisory Fidelity Go can be used for IRAs, including SEP IRAs. And then you have another player, Charles Schwab. And Charles Schwab offers a wide range of assets in which to invest, as well as excellent option trading tools. Okay, and its retirement and planning section of the web platform helps customers understand the types of accounts available, including really how to roll over an old 401k to an IRA. And one thing I love here is that you can go it alone or sign on with a professional advisor to guide you on your journey. And we have Merrill Edge, another great player. So Merrill Edge's educational offerings are based on investing experience, life stage, life events, and retirement, and they guide clients with articles, videos, and webinars and online courses. And really, folks, the content here is excellent. The content for Merrill Edge is just fantastic, and almost all of the tools available take a long-term look ahead with a huge focus on retirement planning. So having an IRA or a SEP IRA here makes a lot of sense. And really, yeah, I mean, Merrill Edge has done a lot of work in the last 5 years to really beef up their content, especially when it refers to a retail audience and a small business ownership, on a small business owners audience. I want to continue here giving you another list of SEP IRA providers, very top quality ones. We have Wealthfront, and this company allows you to open traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, SEP IRAs, and 401k rollovers, along with a variety of taxable accounts. And so the goal planning and tracking are where Wealthfront really shines. And your dashboard shows you all of your assets and liabilities, giving you a quick visual check-in on the likelihood of attaining your goals. And as you make life changes, such as a new job, a spouse, having or adopting a child, or buying a house, your Wealthfront plans adjust accordingly. And you can see that. You can see it on the dashboard. We also have a great player, M1 Finance. So M1 Finance offers a unique combination of automated investing with a high level of customization, allowing clients to create a portfolio tailored to their exact specifications. So what you can do here is you can actually create a SEP IRA portfolio containing with low cost ETFs, or you can even use the individual stocks, or both. Really depends on you. And M1's target customer has a long-term focus and experience with using a traditional online brokerage to invest in stocks and ETFs. So M1 is offering these potential clients a lower cost alternative that allows fractional share transactions and a good amount of control over the portfolio content. So that's pretty cool. And we also love the fact that there is a key difference between M1 and many other offerings, because here you are giving up much of the control in exchange for the portfolio management services. You also have Betterment when it comes to SEP IRA, and there are several ways to use Betterment. You can sync all of your financial accounts to get an overall picture of your assets without investing. You can invest in one of their portfolios, or you can create a flexible portfolio with some of your own specifications. And portfolios are rebalanced when necessary rather than on a set schedule. And Betterment is very much like a goal-based platform if you think about it. And there are many planning tools available to users, along with plenty of advice. You can actually attach a specific investing goal to each portfolio, which can be invested in different strategies. And funds for long-term goals like saving for retirement can be allocated to one of the higher risk portfolios, while short-term goals such as funding a down payment on a house can be allocated to the lower risk ones. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was quickly explaining to you what a SEP IRA is, and I was doing this in a very plain English. And so a SEP IRA is a simplified employee pension plan, all right? And IRA stands for Individual Retirement Account. So the recap here. So we spoke about SEP IRA definition, SEP IRA eligibility requirements, SEP IRA contribution limits, SEP IRA pros and cons, how to open a SEP IRA, invest in funds in a SEP IRA, and the best SEP IRA providers. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.